Hello, everybody. Corey here again. Today in the shop, I've got a 99 Ford F-150 that is an intermittent no crank, no start. Little backstory in the vehicle. The customer has been having some issues with this for a little while. They brought it to us actually a couple months ago. I found a loose starter connection, did some measurements on the starter. Everything seemed to be all right. Started a bunch of times. Battery was okay. Charging system, the whole thing was okay. Everything appeared to be okay. Customer needed the vehicle, so they took the vehicle, and it's been several months. And they called up yesterday and said, "Hey, it's a no crank, no start again." But we and they had told me they crawled under and they tapped on the starter and they were able to get the vehicle started again. So I'm thinking, okay, great. Most likely a starter. But to do our due diligence, I wanted to make sure. So they brought the vehicle over to the shop. They had dropped it off, and I got a chance to look at it. And I had to really do some work to get this to act up for the issue to present itself again. But once I did, I was able to get some valuable measurements and confirm that it is the starter. So I just wanted to bring you along, kind of show you the setup, show you my thought process and procedure through this. So let's get into it. So I had removed the right front tire and the wheel well to gain access to the starter. And I did this when the vehicle was still being able to start. So I didn't want to disturb anything again. I made sure that the connections that I had cleaned and retightened last time were still solid, and they are, no issues there. So I went ahead and hooked up the scope. And we've got our power wire, our main battery heavy gauge cable. We've got a clamp on that. We've got a clamp on the signal wire for the solenoid, clamp on the ground post. There's actually a cable. It's kind of hard to see, but there's actually a cable that goes to a stud on that starter. And then I went ahead and got an amp clamp hooked up on the signal wire, and I will show you why here in just a second. I also wired in... I did this after the issue had started. So I had then wired in or jumped in a headlamp bulb to load test that signal wire. And here's our results. So the blue trace is our heavy battery cable. And you can see that attempting to crank, that does not drop. I won't show you this test, but if you would do a positive to positive voltage drop test, there was no voltage dropping across that, so that appeared to be okay, our cable. And they had also ran previously before the last time I was here, they had reran a new cable down there, so we just wanted to verify that was good. That is good. The red trace is our signal wire to the solenoid, so that's the small wire. And as you can see, when that pulls high, that is me attempting to start the engine there, attempting to crank. So with that being at battery voltage, I'm thinking, okay, the ignition switch appears to be good. Everything up to the starter appears to be good. However, I wanted to load test that. So with the headlamp bulb installed in there, the amp clamp is the gold trace here. And as you can see, that's pulling... it's pulling a roughly 7.5 amps. So despite the circuit still being hooked up, I wanted to load test that circuit to ensure that there wasn't any other issues, and there is not. The headlight bulb light's nice and bright. No issues there at all with it still in circuit. And then the green is our ground. And if we had an issue on the ground, we would see that voltage rise. And depending on the amount of corrosion or the connection issue or whatever, there's no set voltage that could be set to. But as you can see, attempting to crank, there is no voltage present there, or very, very minimal acceptable amount in the hundreds. I believe there's like 100 millivolts or something there, but it is not significant that would cause the starter to not engage and crank the engine over. So this vehicle needs a starter, guys. But like I said, I wanted to walk you through kind of the thought process, the tooling setup. And, I don't ever like to draw conclusions based on just symptoms. It's always better to use test results to guide you to conclusions versus just skipping the testing, jumping to conclusions. So yeah, we were able to get it to act up finally and verify that it is in fact a starter. So now we can confidently present a starter as a repair, and this vehicle will be back on the road once again. Thanks for watching, guys.